So the first one we got, which I also continue to encourage people to do, email us singles and things, because we wouldn't have gotten this really cool song without it. It's How Can I by Paola Proctor. And it is a super interesting song. The music video that also goes along with it, and the lyrics definitely sort of give a sense of a breakup that is happening that is really emotional, where you're experiencing a number of different feelings at once. But the message around the video and kind of surrounding the song and a lot of similar work around it is about being open about mental health and addressing it and having conversations about it and not hiding it in a bubble.
Yeah. I really like the music video. It's pretty cool where it's just two people literally sitting in front of each other for the entire music video and her going over the lyrics, one shot, just going into it and seeing all the emotions flat into like you're going over a breakup is actually pretty cool.
I like the part near the end where they fade out, or like they fade in the actual audio from there where you can actually hear the woman crying. Not that I like that part, but it's like I think it's like a not a Dennis Reynolds I like that part, but like in a more of like a it really adds a lot of emotion and power to a song, and it already has a very powerful visual as well. So it's definitely a cool track. How Can I by Paola Proctor. Check that out, definitely. Meanwhile, on so we call this Cigaros Watch?
Cigaros Watch. We have Yeonji released a single called Mold. So going more into the glitch pop, hyper pop, whatever you can call that, he had in his release last year, which I'm starting to dig into more. It's a little bit slower of a song compared to some of the works on his album that came out last year, but it's still a good track and diving more into that dark experience that Yeonji is now kind of transformed into. And this one's completely in Icelandic, which is really nice. I love it when he does it in Icelandic because you can kind of make your own like song into it, basically make your own lyrics into it, which I always like.
Yeah, and we are definitely going to be going into, before that, I will say, I did really like the song. I love that you are getting kind of into hyperpop a little bit more through Yeonji, and the artists are taking it in different directions. Because that's kind of just the deal with hyperpop anyways. It's an extremely experimental genre that kind of uses pop icons and tones as a way to like kind of make fun of it or parody it as well.
Yeah.
And it goes in a lot of wild directions. Some of which are a little bit harder on the ears, definitely.
Exactly.
But
then there's some really where it's just going in a completely different direction, which I like. You know, always say, try new shit.
Yeah, hyperpop getting kind of orchestral is a really nice thing, and it kind of goes along with the trajectory of electronic music getting orchestral as well. More on that later. But speaking of international songs, we're going to try to do more of those on Audioface this year, as we've said. And we have a little bit of a curveball here. We have Lo Vas a Olvidar by Billie Eilish and Rosalia. And
Billie's doing her Weekend Hawaii remix of doing it in Spanish, which is hilarious. When I heard her, I was like, all right, she's doing the Unable.
She's doing the young. God damn it! I forgot who did. Was it Diplo or Dylan Francis? It was Dylan Francis who did the album in Spanish.
Yeah, and that was the funniest thing.
Yeah, there's always an interesting thing where it can either be really pandering and awkward, or it can really go really well. And this went flawless.
It's great. Her Spanish was very good.
Yeah.
So
Rosalia and Billie Eilish are already very good musicians on their own. We've talked about Billie Eilish a lot on this podcast. Rosalia a little bit here and there, but their voices really mix well together.
They do.
They're singing these lyrics in like a little bit of English and a little bit of Spanish. It's a love song, happens, but like it's it's actually just like really beautiful, and they pair very well together.
It's a cool track, so definitely check it out and see. Interesting to see when she comes out with her album later on, I believe this year.
It's also a really nice way for people to dig their way into just music in different languages. I think it's really beautiful that you can really enjoy music and really enjoy the instrumentation of it, even if you don't really speak the language, especially if you don't.
Yes.
And you also have to realize that a lot of people consume music in English that way around the world. So it's not that crazy to think of. And now something completely different. We have Ain't Got Time by Lil Wayne, which is featuring Fouché. And a little bit of a story to this. We were talking a little bit on Audioface last year, actually, about Lil Wayne facing potentially 10 years of federal jail time for possession of, I think, firearms. He wasn't
deadly weapon and some other things that he violated his terms of other stuff, basically.
Yeah.
Because when you're a convicted felon, you can't have a firearm.
Yeah. And it was looking really bad. He was definitely going to not definitely going to get that jail time, but the jail time he was facing was serious. Yeah. And we've talked very historically on Audioface about celebrities kind of getting a little bit of an out, and you got an example of that here. more on that very, very closely later. But Donald Trump, on one of his last moves in office, ended up pardoning Lil Wayne.
Yep.
And since Lil Wayne's printing cases on the federal level,
so that's probably why Lil Wayne was buddies with Trump in the last little parts of like, hey, get him elected and all this, was probably get that pardon.
Actually, yeah. I mean, you're starting to see this a little bit there, where this goes back to what Ice Cube said about he's the one in power, and we're going to not like him. We don't like everyone we work with, have to meet with as a client or negotiator or whatever. But if they have something we want and we have something they want, we try to negotiate and get whatever the best deal is. And Lil Wayne had that goofy ass picture. But at least in the song in here, at least the first time I listened to it, I didn't catch anything that was necessarily oh, shout out Trump, he's the homie, #1, totally caping Lil Pump did for sure.
Yeah, so it's not as bad as Lil Pump. Jesus.
Award-winning
Lil Pump, exactly.
But yeah, the song itself is just sort of detailing the story, the sort of things you're going through when the FBI's after you. Do I have a lot of sympathy for Lil Wayne?
Fuck no.
No to Blue Lives Matter Lil Wayne? Absolutely not. But it's there, and it definitely could have been worse. Again, Lil Wayne's not that bad of an artist, and he has a pretty consistent record. He's gone a lot.
Was decent.
He's gone a lot longer of a trajectory than a lot of artists I would have expected his type did. He started really young, and even into his more mature years, he's continued being a decent artist. But there's still nothing flashy. He's got a lot of different contemporaries now, or not even contemporaries, people just new generations that just have a better sound than him.